Hi everyone. So in our previous session, we saw what is an internal API and how it is used. I hope you have understood. If you have any questions, please comment. I'll try to answer most of it. So in today's session, we'll be seeing what is an external API. So I would like to uh, jump right into an example. So I'll be taking PhonePe as my example. So let's say why there was a need for an external API, right? Most of the things that were actually done in internal API, why external API actually came into place. So let's say uh, let's consider India like 10 years back. So most of the transactions that were done were actually done through taken place through cash, or you had to withdraw from an ATM or withdraw from a bank through a check. So most of the transactions were done through cash, right? So as in when the technology is being progressed, or we are at that stage where the world is moving really fast and most of the things are expected to go fast. So there was a need for digital payment. So most of the transactions, that you're doing today become so common. We hardly take out any cash, right? So it's constantly changing every day. So to address that issue, so when you think about payment, it's it's very risky. A lot of security that is involved, and it's a matter of uh, sensitivity, right? People are involved, and the money is involved. So, trusting an app or making digital payments uh, took some time, and most apps, had to build in a certain way that it covers most of these aspects. So, to address this issue, um, third party API actually came into picture. So I'll tell you why it was important, right? So let's say PhonePe, right? Now if PhonePe wants to make it was just a digital transaction app initially, right? Now we have other options. But it was actually made for payment or the transfer of money and receiving money. So if PhonePe had to create such a process, uh, and if the banks didn't trust PhonePe, so PhonePe couldn't create, they cannot create uh, a new bank and new infrastructure just to show how the app works, right? Uh, they cannot create something in such a large scale. You cannot go, build an infrastructure for a bank, get employees. That'll take some time because we have other trusted banks which are backed by government and which have been there for more than 50, 60 years, right? It has been around, and any new bank, it's most likely people trust. So they cannot go create a, a bank or infrastructure, or get employees, pay them, create a servers that involves crores and crores of rupees, right? So what the third party API does is they partner with different banks. So let's say we have SBI and we have HDFC we have ICICI, and it goes on. So now what SBI, HDFC or ICICI, what these banks do, they cannot give phone pay, like they cannot expose the data, they cannot show them every detail or every information, what transactions are being happening, or how many customers they have, the list of customers, nothing can be shared. So the only way that uh, you know, the only thing that PhonePe wants is payment. So you connect to your bank and then you pay and you're done. That's it, right? So here SBI creates uh, their own API. Let's say SBI payment, and what they do is uh, they make it public. So it is open to anybody. So any, even in the future, if there is any app, let's say now we have Swiggy, you make payments on Swiggy, you order on Myntra, you order on Amazon. So all these e-commerce websites, and there are more digital payment or food delivery business. Most of these people need payment, right? So there are many apps that are evolving which needs a payment gateway. So now what they can do is they can look up to individual banks API, which is available publicly, and then they can get a contract. So in external APIs, you mostly have to get a contract. There's a payment that is involved, and the time period that is involved, right? There's a lot of thing that is involved, security and everything. So now you get that API through contract, and then you integrate that with your application. Now PhonePe has um, got the API of SBI, HDFC, ICICI, and they have integrated that into their application, and that is how they are able to use those payment gateways. So these are called external APIs, right? So now what happens is through an external API, so whenever there's a change in SBI, right? If a customer closes the account, so the account is no longer activated, right? Or you're not making any transactions. So all that logic is taken care by the developers of SPI, and the API keeps upgrading. So if there's new data that is deleted, new data that's updated, so everything happens on their end, and PhonePe has no role in all of this, right? So whenever there's a change made, it is automatically updated. So it is very easy. Now PhonePe doesn't have to get each and every data. Like there's so many people who close accounts on each day, or there is new account that's being created each day, right? So you cannot, each and every time you cannot contact SBI or HDFC or ICICI and ask them to provide the latest data, right? Just imagine how difficult that would actually get. uh, it's very tedious task, do it, right? And so now what happens, since the control is completely under SBI, and the API connection also is connected to their database, so any changes that they make is also reflected in that API, and then you don't have to worry. And it has made so easy, right? So you don't have to contact for any changes, you don't have to do anything, so everything is in the contract, so it automatically upgrades, right? So that is the wonderful and best part of having external APIs, right? I'll give you another example. So we have Swiggy, and Swiggy is using Google Maps. So let's say, imagine Swiggy building their own map. So building a map is not easy, right? You need to have satellite data or the connection, and there's a lot of thing that is involved. Uh, we might not know the internal structure of how a map, what are the permissions or how it is being set, or even to create a map, right? And test it would take a lot of time. Let's say you have your own business. There are hundreds and thousands of businesses that are growing up, right? You might have your own hotel business, or any destination that you have to reach, or you need a direction, right? For your Airbnb or anything. So all of these 100 companies cannot create a map of their own, right? Or they might not need it. They might, let's say if you're into hotel business and you want to give directions to your customers and how to reach it, right? So you are very much concentrate only on your hotel business. You are not a tech person, so you cannot hire people to create a map, or developers, or go keep that in a testing phase, or keep a separate server. You cannot do all of that. So each and every small businesses or small companies who are not related to tech, right, they absolutely cannot do it, right? And that's where we have a wonderful option. We have Google Maps. Google Map has created an API and it is open. So now it makes life easy for all of these businesses who are not into tech, who doesn't want to create or maintain such big infrastructure. It is being maintained by Google, right? Any changes, any updates, Google will take care. The database is on the Google side. They have the service. They are paying for the service. All the testing development is done by somebody else. You have the wonderful opportunity to use that in your application, right? So that is the beauty of API. So that is why API is being so popular. Um, so these are all like external APIs. So anybody can use it through a contract, certain money or time period which is involved, right? So it is publicly documented. So you, they might, each API is different. Uh, some API might not have any restriction, but some API might need API key, or any authentication that you need, right? So based on your company. So now Swiggy integrates this Google Maps into their application and see how easy it is, right? So these are some of the examples of external API. I hope you all have understood. I've tried to explain it in a very common language, not used any uh, technological terms. So I hope you have understood. So these are also called open API because it is public. Unlike we had internal API, which is not public. We cannot make it public, right? Internal API, which is used only for your software, only in a particular company for internal changes, right? Unlike internal API, external API is very different. Uh, Hope you have some clarity on this. If you have any doubts, you can just comment. I hope I can clarify on that. And thank you so much, everyone. We'll see what is partner API in our next session. Thank you.